side, aspirin will not cure the cancer. It may reduce the pain for the time being and some simple swelling. It doesn't cure the cancer. And yet we have to focus on that because that's what people understand. And from there you can go to the other more complicated issues related to our polity and our democracy. The only positive impact perhaps of this, this whole disclosure is the parties are now a little more careful about nominating candidates. That means fresh criminals are not nominated as candidates.
The old ones continue,
established ones continue because they already struck deep political roots.
In fact, one of the reforms that you're pushing for is to get political parties to accept that candidates with certain heinous charges against them, where a court has taken cognizance of the offence, should be debarred. Do you think parties will actually bite that bullet?
Some parties are willing. For instance, the earlier NDA government actually brought in an ordinance during that whole disclosure battle, which talked about eight heinous offences. They said if twice a person is charged with these offences, then they should be disqualified, but there's no consensus.
The problem is why twice? Why is once not enough?
That's true. The bar is a very difficult one to determine. But we should be very cautious about disqualification. In principle, I'm not in favor of disqualification of candidates because the political process must be such that such candidates will not be serious contenders anyway. But disqualification, if that becomes the method of reform in politics, we could go the Pakistan way.
Absolutely. Now, for such candidates not to be serious, people have to be aware and conscious of the nature of the candidate they're voting for. What do you do when it's said that actually alleged criminals deliver goods in constituencies when they get elected? Innocent good people somehow can't make the system work. How do you change that mindset?
Actually, it's not merely a mindset issue, it's also reality.
That's a sad reality.
It's a sad reality. What's happening is there are three fundamental questions we have to ask. The first is, why are the criminals intending to go into politics in the first place? Because crime investigation is politically driven, it makes good sense for criminals to become politicians, because then they're insulated from crime investigation, the police
they protect themselves.
Yes, exactly. The second is, why are people voting for them? The people are voting for them because people like Manmohan Singh, the decent, deserving, people whom we respect and honor, who have impeccable track record, people perceive that such honorable people can no longer deliver in a very wooden and inflexible system. And therefore...
You need a crook to work a crooked system.
Exactly. That is the problem. And the third is, why are politicians inviting the criminals? The politicians have no choice but to invite them because they are the ones who have the caste power, money power, and therefore they are the most electable ones in a very skewed electoral system.
So it's an unholy but inevitable nexus.
Exactly.
So it's very, very hard to break.
It's the logic of the system.
Now, another challenge that you've taken on, and you've taken on loads and loads of challenges, is the challenge of inner party democracy. Very candidly, you admit, and I quote, most parties are dominated by only one leader. And monarchy is the correct description of party leadership. Once in office, the power of leadership is absolute and control of resources is awesome. How deeply does this vitiate Indian democracy?
Very deeply. About 25-30 years ago, this criticism was largely applicable to the Congress party. But the iron law of Indian politics says that every party is a clone of the Congress, barring one or two exceptions in general. And therefore, you see at regional level and national level, almost all parties behaving in the same manner. And the party membership, if somebody challenges a party leader, immediately the person becomes persona non grata and out of the party. And once you're thrown out of a party, it's political death sentence. Theoretically,